Stock markets opened in a state of high anxiety, which gave way to panic.
Level one, which is where we are right now, we opened down about 8% on the S&P.
Well, I'm not sure it can be stopped just because we now have so many companies that I think are going to be strapped.
And there are fears that the Dow will drop and drop quickly. And
that was 2020. The world was over, right? Everything was ending. That's also the year I just started investing. I was brand new. And at the time I watched the news every single day, and that's all I would see. But you know what? As little as I knew about investing, I knew I wanted to invest. I knew what I wanted to invest in. And I kept hearing a quote going through my head over and over and over again. And it was Warren Buffett. And I'll put it up here. That last part. Be greedy when others are fearful. That's all I kept hearing. And so I kept dumping money in week after week after week after week. Matter of fact, the most money I put in was probably around March timeframe, which is when it was at its peak and the stock market was pretty much at its lowest. So I didn't hit exactly at the lowest point, but I was all around there. And if we look now, 5 years later, stock market is up, or S&P specifically, 80%. 80% since then. My point is, if I was able to do that, if I was able to overcome all the fear and stuff that was being tossed around, and I guess it was rightfully so to a degree because it was a brand new event, it was a big deal. But fear played a huge role, right? The stock market reacts to that. If I was able to do that, anyone can do that. I was not a professional. I'm still not a professional. 80% in 5 years. And I want to go over, like the title of the video says, my returns from 2024, so last year. And the reason I focus on last year is because that was the first year that my returns surpassed my contributions, which is a big deal. And I know last year was high returns, right? Over 20%. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's still a big deal. So without further ado, I don't want to make this video super long. Let's take a look at my returns for last year. Returns only, not contributions, right? Total number is, drum roll, $145,000. That is just returns. That is money that I made while I was sleeping. And I only started 5 years ago. Well, at that point, I was still in my 4th year. That's incredible. I think that's incredible. That's more money than we contributed, like I said, which is a huge milestone. And I want this to not be a super long, drawn-out video. I want this to be, again, kind of inspirational. If I did that in the height of COVID, when everyone was terrified, and I was not an expert, not a seasoned investor, then anyone can do it. So here's to continuing to grow. I hope you join me next week. See you then.